I want to talk about taste. And if I'm being honest, I actually don't really know what I want to say about taste, but it's been something that I've been thinking about a lot recently. My wife and I have been building a home, and we've been doing this over a whole year. Late last year, we moved into this little townhouse while we were building our home, and we're right next to when we're actually going to be able to move in. And so obviously a lot of the time we've had to make choices along the way about tile colors, grout colors, what tiles do you want here, what tiles do you want there, what carpet color, what ply, and all those sorts of things, and it goes on and on. And it's very hard because you have this individual taste and you look at all these different things and you come to agreements and you have arguments and it's the whole thing. And then you see the whole thing come together. And it's both not quite the same as what you'd imagined it to be, and yet it's somehow better, but it's also not quite there. It's a different thing. It's the same thing when I'm writing. When I set out to start writing, I've got ideas about what I want the book to look like. I've got ideas about where I want it to sit on the shelf next to other authors, and you've got dreams of, my ability and where I could possibly go with it. And then when you actually get the final product, it very rarely looks like the thing you set out to actually achieve. And so I was thinking about the idea of taste and how your taste can be really good. And that's the thing that can actually start you working on these things. But it's still just your taste. There's no real way of knowing whether or not you're completely off the grid and on your own. As far as your taste is concerned, maybe we made the weirdest kitchen in history. I have no idea. And you can look at designs, you can look at other people's ideas, you can brainstorm ideas with other people. At the end of the day, we're all made differently. We all have different tastes. I've really struggled with this over the course of my life because a lot of the time, the things that I like don't seem to be in line with what the majority of people like. The books that I read are not books that a lot of people actually enjoy reading. I wouldn't say that they're popular fiction. I would say a lot of times I like a bit strange fiction. I like reading fiction that's quite difficult, full of big ideas. And as much as I enjoy reading, light reading, easy to read, crime thrillers and things like that just pull you through the book, I do like a challenging read as well. And sometimes I feel like I'm a crazy person for liking the types of books that I like. And so when I write a book and I look at it and, on my best days, I look at it and I think, this could be good. Like, I like this. This thing is pretty interesting, I think. It's a bit different. I think people might like this. And then I go and show them this dish that I've created, and some people just don't really like how it even looks. They won't even try to taste it. And I'm not having a go at anybody here. I'm not especially not trying to be woe is me, like I've got a hard life. Like, my books are published. It's brilliant in and of itself. But it does make me just question the reason that we write and how we actually decipher. It's less than that. It's more to do with the idea that when you produce something, and whether it be cooking or a piece of art, a piece of writing, actually a sculpture, whatever it could be, a building, what you're hoping is that when you present it, you're sort of presenting a form of yourself. That's what it feels like. You're like, here you go. What do you guys think? Here's part of me. I hope you like it. And it's a very vulnerable thing to make something. It's very vulnerable. And so then when people don't respond, don't like it, don't read it, don't taste the dish you created because they don't even like they just don't like macaroni cheese. Don't eat macaroni cheese. It's pretty good. We just don't eat it. It can be like they're rejecting you. And I think this is the thing that a lot of creative people really struggle with, is how who we are as people is really deeply ingrained in the stuff we create. And it is really, really difficult to separate yourself from the thing you make. It's really difficult to let go of your expectations of how you want people to read your work or taste your dish. So when you start to actually build something like the house that I was describing, and you see all these little disparate bits come together, And then you start showing it to people. You start showing your cooking to people, and they don't react in a positive way. They go, oh, this is, yes, that's okay. That's when self-doubt rears its head. Absolutely. Self-doubt in your ability to create something that people would want. And then here's the real trick too. You might have made something bad. And that's really hard to get your head around as well. Maybe the house design is terrible. Maybe you're struggling as a cook and you put too much spice in or too much salt, and while you might like it, it's not for everybody. Maybe the book you wrote wasn't that good, wasn't well crafted. I mean, that's a hard thing to face as well. Like, there is a role in self-reflection. There is a role in having a look at whether or not you've actually made something, especially if a lot of people say to you the same thing, this isn't quite working in this area here. I guess it's when those sorts of critiques then feel like they're narrowing their gaze at who you are as a person, that it gets really, really difficult to keep going. It gets difficult to go back to the drawing board, write that thing again. You know, when I was starting out as an author, I wrote four books before I wrote my first novel, To Become a Whale, which went on to be published. But I wrote every single one of those thinking that I was doing something cool. Like, I had my taste, and then I would read back over it. And every time I read back over it, I would have that self-doubt, but at the same time I think, okay, this could be cool, I think this might be good, but you're just unsure. And then you send it out to an agent, or then you send it to a publisher, or then you show a friend who knows what they're talking about. And you get some very polite no's, and you have to go back to the drawing board. So picking yourself up, not letting that affect you, not letting that be what defines you, that you're just rejected as a person. You're not rejecting the person, you're rejecting the thing you created. And maybe the thing you created is just something that needs a little bit more work. It's when you can create something that you're proud of. That's when it doesn't actually matter what people's opinions of it are. It actually doesn't matter if it gets published. It doesn't matter if everybody in the world doesn't like it. If you think it's good, then it's good. But you can't control other people's taste. You can't account for it. And if they don't like it, they don't like it. You have to let go of those expectations before you set about creating something or showing people something that you've made that you're proud of. You just have to rest in the idea that they might not like it. And it's not that they don't like you, it's that they just didn't connect with the thing you created for whatever reason. I think I'll be having this conversation with myself for the rest of my life. I think this is something that will just continue on. And no matter what I put my hand to, whether it be cooking or designing a house, or you know, playing music, tasting music, anything like that, anything you create, if you can just get to the point where you rest in the satisfaction of a job well done, that's where you got to get to. Although, you know what, I don't think I'll ever get there either. I think that I'll always be just a touch unsatisfied with the stuff I make. And that's kind of a good thing. That means I'm going to keep on trying to push, keep on getting better, keep on refining my ideas. You have to be both enormously vulnerable and extremely tough to make anything. And it's an act of bravery to even set out on the journey. So if you're a person watching this who struggles with showing other people stuff you make, or if you're a person watching this who maybe has received a lot of rejection and criticism, keep going. Keep picking yourself up and keep trying. It is worth persevering through, and take a look at the stuff you've made, the stuff that other people rejected, and have a look at it and think to yourself, do I like it? And if at the end of the day you can say that you do, then you're in a good spot. Thanks for watching the video, guys. I would love to hear your comments, love for you to comment down below. Do all the things that help my videos go out and reach more people. Share it on social media, all that sort of stuff. If this stuff spoke to you, I'd love to actually hear from you. Having conversations is really fun. I feel like, well, I'm just talking to a camera, so it is weird. But I would love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.